Welcome back to the Legacy Podcast. My name is Olisya Grant, co-founder of Matrix Legacy Inc. We are back for episode number 19. This is a show where we create a blueprint for success. We look for ways to create generational wealth, and we break those chains of a poverty mindset. Now, last episode, my husband and I took a very basic dive into what investing is in the first place, in terms of what is the definition of investing? How do you get started? Little things like that. And the reason why we wanted to break it down into pieces that small is because a lot of people who we speak to, a lot of clients, the reason they haven't started investing is because they're afraid. And the reason they're afraid is because they've never done it before. So oftentimes our fears are just, I don't know what's on the other side of this trial or on the other side of this wall because I've never seen it before. So instead of going to find out, it's better to just not do it. It's more comfortable to just not do it. And even beyond that, a lot of times what we're afraid of, if we do give it a try, is what it's going to look like if we fail. How other people are going to perceive us if we don't achieve what we said we were going to achieve. And so today, I really want to talk about why failure is the most important part of success. That definitely sounds backwards, but if there is one thing I'm learning on this entrepreneurial journey that I'm on, is that we want to fail fast, and we want to fail forward. And I'm going to break it all down for you today. I'm going to give you 5 tips to fail your way to success. And these 5 tips is me talking to you, really talking to myself. So we're going to learn and we're going to fail through this together. Now, I want to just share what's allowed me to have some of these breakthroughs. A lot of you know that exactly 1 month ago today, I actually walked away from my full-time corporate job. I was working as a human resources generalist, but it just wasn't my passion. What I really love is what I'm doing right here, educating and sharing my experiences with others as I continue to create wealth in my life. I just want to see that same thing for anybody else who really wants that. And so after leaving the job, literally the next day, I had a client book an appointment with me, and I wasn't used to creating a full system yet where I could take the client's booking and have it right there at my fingertips. I would have to kind of log into my computer and double check my meetings, that kind of thing. So I had a client book in because she wanted to advertise on our Matrix Legacy app. For whatever reason, my brain told me that the appointment was 11:30. When it was actually booked in for 11. So I log into my computer at 11:20 and I see, if any of you have that Zoom virtual meeting service, you get an email that says your guests are waiting for you. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe this girl's just way earlier than I am. And so I log in, get ready, and then I go back and look at the time and realize I just missed the entire meeting. So I start feeling absolutely terrible. I had her phone number, so I give her a call. At first, I thought the line disconnected the first time I called, but the second time I called, I realized that she had just hung up on me. So I tried to follow up with an email and just apologize, whatever I can do to make it up for you. We'd still love to connect. Heard absolutely nothing from her. Now, I understand why, because I absolutely hate it when people waste my time. In terms of, if we set a time, especially if you pick it and you confirm it, and then there was no emergency, there was no anything, it's, I just forgot, or oopsies, it just slipped my mind. What that means to me is that you don't value my time. And so the fact that I had done that to somebody else really shook me, and I was super upset about it for a quick second until I realized, you know what? Here is the lesson. If I had had a system that was right at my fingertips, right on my cell phone, I could have double checked that a couple times in the day to make sure that it was done. So now I use this program called Calendly, where once your client books in, it's in your Google Calendar, it's there right on your Zoom account, and you can also download the app so that you can double check whenever you need to right on your phone. And so even though I might have lost that client or, made a bad impression in that sense, what I did learn is how to create a better system so that never ever happens again. So out of that failure, I created a more efficient system. So it really wasn't a failure. I succeeded because every single client I've had booked after that, I've never missed another meeting. And I've mentioned a book before. It's called Go for No. I'm going to check my notes. It's by Andrea Waltz and Richard Fenton. If you haven't read that book and you are an aspiring entrepreneur or side hustler or in sales or anything really that you have to interact with people, this is a phenomenal book to read. And what they really talk about is the way that you win is to increase your number of rejections. So for example, if you are in a sales role and your quota or whatever standard you set for yourself is to close 4 deals by the end of the week, what you've set yourself up for is to get 4 yeses, right? 4 deals closed. But what if instead you decided, all right, I'm going to keep making phone calls until 16 people tell me no? Because usually in the week I've got to call 20 people in order to get 4 deals closed or 4 yeses to whatever product or service that I'm offering. But instead, if I go for 16 people to reject me, well, then that means I'm forced to speak to more people. And who knows, as I'm going for those 16 no's, maybe I actually got 7, 8, 9, 10 yeses in the meantime. And so we really hold ourselves back by just going for success. There's a quote in there that says, "Success has ruined many a good man." And what that means is, as soon as we start finding success, we take our foot off the gas pedal a little bit. We slow down because it's like, great, I got what I wanted, but did you even get a chance to see what your full potential is? Because as soon as we started, getting the wins, getting the yeses, closing a few deals, then we slow down and we just meet whatever the original goal was that we had for ourselves. But who knows what was available to us beyond that? And just as really like a final example on this topic, the most successful people in the world are only successful because they failed more than anybody else. I'm sure a lot of you have heard Michael Jordan, where he says, you know what? In my entire career, I've missed 9,000 shots. I've lost almost 300 basketball games. On 26 different occasions, I was trusted to make the game-winning shot, and I missed. And that is why I'm successful. Because Michael Jordan, if you look, he is legendary, not even just in the basketball world, but just in general. This is an icon. And why is he an icon? Because he failed the most. And so what I want to share with you guys today is 5 ways that you can really fail yourself to success the same way that somebody like Michael Jordan did, or any of the greats. So the first one is to give yourself a real chance. A lot of times we might stick our toe in the water and it feels a little chilly in there. And so instead of actually jumping in and putting our whole self in to see what we're capable of, we walk away before we even know what's actually available. So if we start a new project and we tell 5 of our closest friends about it and 5 of them say, you know what, I don't like it, then we say, you know what, all right, I guess that's it then. I guess it's over for me. Instead of thinking, all right, maybe that's just 5 people. Maybe these are just the wrong types of people that I'm speaking to. Those are 5 out of the billions of people there are on the face of this earth. We are all connected through this little thing called the internet, and you can just hop on and try it with other people who you've never met before, people who are really looking for what it is that you have to offer. But if you just stop at the first 5 no's, or the first 5 days, or the first 5 months, whatever that looks like, you've got to give yourself a real chance, or else you never know if you are actually on the right path, because you didn't actually go far enough to see what was down the road. So the first thing that I would say is just do not quit too early. Give yourself a real chance. The second thing, and this is kind of where I got my main mind shift, is that failure isn't really real. The only time that you fail is if you didn't actually give it your best, and if you didn't learn anything. But if you gave it your absolute best shot and you learned something from that experience, then you actually succeeded. So when I say failure is not real, it's true. Think about how much rewarding and how much more inspiring your story is if you really had to fight for it, if you really had to go through something to get what it is that you have. There is no such thing as failure if there was a lesson learned from the experience that you had. The third thing I want to say is you got to fail fast and you got to fail forward. Some of you may know that I got my start in this whole entrepreneur world through network marketing. And in network marketing, there's a lot of people have preconceived notions about what it is or what it means, how the system works. And so as a newbie coming in, what you realize is you can win in network marketing the slow and painful way, which means only talking to a few people, only taking a few rejections every day, and then eventually, maybe over a span of a couple years, you find your way to some real financial and personal development success. Or you can just fail really fast. Go out and say the wrong things to the wrong people over and over and over again as fast as you can so you can learn. And as you go from conversation to conversation, presentation to presentation, you pick up a new skill, a new idea, a new energy, and people can see that. They can feel that, and they can see that development. So if you're afraid or you don't like rejection, then just get through it faster. Fail fast, but fail forward. Don't just fail and keep doing the same thing over and over and over. If you realize something is not working, then you got to pivot. But if you're doing it fast enough, then you don't even have time to get caught up in the emotions and the feeling of it, because you're like, okay, amazing, that also didn't work. What did I say this time different than the time before that? So what can I tweak? What can I say the next time? How can I show up next time? So the third tip there is fail fast, but also make sure that you're failing forward, that you're not regressing and becoming worse as you go. Make sure that you pick up something every single time and implement just these tiny little pivots until you crack the code and you get it right. My mentor likes to use the reference of like a Rubik's Cube or a safe, where you got to turn the dial, and as soon as you get it just the right combination, that's when you unlock everything. That's when you solve the Rubik's Cube. But you've got to keep making these tiny little shifts over and over until you solve the puzzle or crack the code. So number 4 is something I have to constantly remind myself of. And it's do not apply your past failures to your future expectations or what your future experiences will be. I'll make a very basic example. Let's say you are in high school and you ask a girl out on a date and she rejects you. So for the next 10 years, you say, you know what, the first time I asked somebody out, I was rejected. So that means every person I ask out going forward is going to reject me as well. That sounds a little crazy, right? Yes, because it is. Because from that rejection, you could have learned something. Maybe the approach, maybe you came on too strong. Maybe you just weren't her type, and that's absolutely okay. But if you're applying that one situation to every situation going forward, then how can you ever succeed? How can you ever find a partner if you're still caught up on what happened back in high school or back in college or back a year ago? So do not apply your past failures to your future abilities. Maybe you tried starting a business before 5 years ago. Maybe you tried learning a new language 5 years ago and it just didn't work out, or you couldn't stay consistent. But that does not mean that going forward into the future that you cannot find success in building a business. That does not mean going forward into the future, that doesn't mean that going into the future you can't be consistent. So the whole idea here is really do not apply your past failures to your future abilities. Or in other words, don't let your past failures predict your future. And the last tip I have here at number 5 is focus on the ultimate end goal and not the present feeling. Rejection is not easy and it's not fun until you do it over and over and over, and really you just become numb to it. I'm at the point now where I'm expecting rejection. I want it, and I want it faster, instead of me having to waste days, months, years working on a prospect or on a potential client just to find out that something in my system is the reason that they didn't want to go forward with me. I want to fail as soon as I can, because my ultimate goal is to build Matrix Legacy Inc. into a global organization of entrepreneurs and side hustlers and big dreamers who are all on the same mission, building their own legacy. My ultimate goal is to have a global platform. And so if I get caught up in every single no, and I get stumped by every person who says I'm not interested, well then I'm never going to get there. And so I just constantly hold that picture in my mind of the impact and of the reach that I'm going to be able to have. And that allows me to not get wrapped up in the current circumstance. And that allows me to take myself out of my emotions a little bit and really just focus on what is the result that we're trying to get here. And if getting that result means I need to take 10,000 no's to get there, I am willing to do that. And that's really the mentality that we have to take on. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get to my ultimate end goal. So this present moment, this little micro moment in time is not going to define my ultimate success. And so really what you want to do is just focus on, keep your eye on the prize. Keep your eyes on the prize. One moment in time is not going to define your entire legacy, your entire journey. We're going to have bumps in the road, and that's just something we have to accept. So just to recap very quickly, the first one is to give yourself a real chance and don't quit too early. Second one is failure is not real if you gave it your best shot and you learned something. Third thing is to fail fast, but make sure that you're failing forward and learning something with every single one of those failures. The fourth one is don't apply your past failures to your future abilities. And then last but not least, keep your eyes on the prize. Focus on the ultimate goal and not this present little moment in time where things don't feel so good. So the building block of the day is really to figure out what's more important. Acceptance and looking really great in front of people, or an actual result, an actual lifestyle change, a shift where you're able to create that generational wealth, to create that lifestyle that you want, to walk away from your job if that's what you want to do, to blow your business up to the point where it becomes a household name. Whatever your goal is, you've got to decide, do I care more about what people think or how people are going to look at me if I don't make it? Or do I care more about what the result is that I want for my life, for my family, etc.? So I really hope this helps somebody. And if it did, go ahead and sound off in the comments. If you're listening on Spotify, Apple, or any of those podcasting platforms, do me a massive favor and leave a review. If you're on YouTube and you're enjoying this content, give me a like and a comment and let me know what your favorite part is so that I can just keep bringing the things that are most useful to you. And for those of you who are looking, I've had a few people reach out to me, so I want to address this very quickly. Some people are really just looking for some kind of informal mentorship. Something where they can come and just take whatever piece they need at whatever time they need and apply it to where they are in their journey of either becoming an entrepreneur or turning their side hustle into a main hustle, or really just putting the pieces together on their big dream. We are launching Matrix Legacy Academy. So for those of you who are interested, you can reach out to me directly. Super active on Instagram and Facebook. You can send me an email. I'm going to leave all of those details in the description box. We are in the pre-launch phase, so we will be launching in just under 1 month. Super value packed. We'll be doing live Q&As. We'll be hosting master classes. We'll have a book club in there. Anything that you need to really put forward the pieces to your own legacy, we are here to support and build that with you. For even more information beyond that, you can download the Matrix Legacy app. And of course, you can join me here next week as we create another building block for success. Until next time, let's build a legacy.